Sometimes you get an idea for a car that seems cool in your head, but is only kinda cool in practice. And quite frankly, it's a bit difficult to deal with. But that's when you realize the vehicles today are designed a certain way for a reason. But you don't let that stop you from making your idea anyway. And it may not work quite as well as a boring old car, but at least you look cool driving it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, this is ScrapMan back with another episode of Scrap Mechanic, and today we're going into our second episode of the Stupid Vehicles theme. So, I actually made something that it's way more involved than a stupid vehicle should be. Usually all my stupid vehicles are kind of just little experiments of ways to get around, and that's what this was, but it ended up being way cooler than I thought it was, and I spent way more time on it than I thought I was going to. But first, before we get to that, I want to show you this one. This is one I actually meant to put in my first video. If you haven't seen the first video, there's 3 stupid vehicles that I made for that one, so go ahead and click the little pop-up right now, or if you missed that, you can go and check the link in the description down below. But I made my first couple of vehicles based off of shapes, and I had one cube, I had one that was a square, I had one that was a triangle, kinda, or a tripod, and this one was the rectangle. So this has 2 buttons. The button 1 controls that, button 2 controls that. So when you do them both together, you go forward, and when you do just one of them, you turn. So I just thought this was kind of a fun little weird way to get around, and it does balance itself. I actually have sensors on the back and on the front to keep it from tipping forward or backwards, and there's a couple of somewhere in here there's some suspension glitches that are keeping it upright when that happens. But yeah, this is just a fun little thing that looks kind of ridiculous, but it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't go very fast. This is the controllers, I think, at their max speed, and you have to use controllers though, because otherwise they will not stay in sync with each other if you use an engine. But yeah, so this was just a little one-off thing that I accidentally forgot last time, and I wanted to make sure I showed you guys. But the main attraction here is this thing. And all around me are some prototype experiments in getting this thing to be possible. So I came up with this idea. I call it the camber wheel, I guess. This is similar to something I've seen Wanderbots do. Wanderbots has a lot of Scrap Mechanic videos, and I think he really likes this type of wheel setup, but that's not actually the main purpose of this. The main purpose of this is how this thing changes directions and gets around. So I'll show you the process I went through here. First, this was just a proof of concept to make sure that it worked. Now the idea is the wheels only spin in one direction. There's no backwards or forwards. Now, the seat WASD doesn't work on this. I experimented with that, but it's not the best way. So if you press button 1, the wheels will spin in one direction. That's all button 1 does, is just spin the wheels in the same direction. If you press number 2, the wheels turn, or the entire wheel segments turn, to go onto the opposite edge. Now what that means is that even though they're spinning in the same direction, they're now going to be rolling you in the opposite direction, because the angle of the wheel has now changed onto the opposite end. And what's cool about that is if you do just one side, if I press number 3 here, now we can turn in place. If we do the other side, we can turn in the other direction. So essentially the entire purpose of this was to show this cool little turning way of using the edges of your wheels instead of actually turning the wheels or changing the wheels' direction. So the wheels only ever have to spin in one direction. I thought that was a kind of cool concept. So I built that, and then I tried to make it so that you could use WASD and This is a little system I came up with using sensors, so this is the gas. But unfortunately, if you look, I'm gonna go on, off, on, off. So you can see it has a delay to it, and I just really didn't like that. But I tried to carry it through the end. So here's steering, and then here's gas. And yeah, for some reason on this one, when the gas releases, like I'm gonna release in 3, 2, 1. It just waits, and it made it so much harder to control this thing. So I decided to just go with the button method instead of the WASD method, because honestly, it's a lot easier and it's a lot more efficient. So here you go. This is the camber wheel. And it works the same way as the prototype you saw there. And I actually have this one going a little bit slower. Mainly because when it was going a lot faster, it made it much more difficult to control. But it's kind of hard to control because turning is very, very sensitive, because as soon as the wheel is hit, you now have the wheels going in opposite directions at the same speed, so it tends to turn really, really fast the faster that you're going. So it's hard to make fine little adjustments, but I think it looks super cool. I love the way the mechanism looks. I just wish you could actually make it go faster, because this is the controllers controlling them at their max speed. But yeah, it can turn on a dime and place like this. It's really fun for doing donuts. It can go forwards and backwards without too much of an issue. But, I mean, compared to normal steering, it's just... the time is delayed, and it's a little bit hard to make fine adjustments, so that's why I call it a stupid vehicle, because it works, and it may even look cool while it's working, but it's just not as good as the tried and true method of normal wheels steering. I mean, it's got a delayed reaction, it's extra sensitive. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with the details of actually just building the body, because I mean the wheels I had already figured out that the wheels work. I had my proof of concept, so I was like, now it's just how to make it look cool. So I had a lot of fun using like the new bars. Let me get my inventory out of here. So having these new bars for extra detail elements all over it, and even using them in the spoiler here was kind of fun. And I even used some of the pipe pieces and these cables to add some extra stuff. And this was kind of a cool pattern that I got out of the I-beams. So that was pretty cool. And also using these pipes as exhaust pieces, but I decided to have them on slightly different angles, as you can see, to create this kind of spiky effect. And inside the vehicle, there actually is 4 seats. 1, 2, 3, and the driver. Now, unfortunately, I didn't make any doors to get in on the sides or anything, so you just gotta kind of snipe the seats, so there's the back seat there, in order to get inside. But yeah, to get in the driver's seat, you just go in through the window, and even has first person, so you can see out through the window as well. I've never actually done this yet. Let's see how this looks. This is kind of cool. It's a little bit harder to control it because you can't actually see the wheels working. Here's just me trying to go down this road here. Hold on a sec. Let me get going here. Whoop. Yep. Alright, and now we're going straight. But yeah, first person's kind of cool. But yeah, here's what the inside looks like. Alright. So, this is the camber wheel. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun making it. Let me know what you guys thought of this build. I thought it was really fun and a really cool concept. I haven't seen it before. I don't know if anyone's done this in particular as far as this way of angling the wheels in different directions to have it turn back and forth. But I figured it'd be kind of cool to show you guys and give you guys an idea of what I was working on the past couple days for the stupid vehicles thing. And if you guys want to see any other stupid vehicles, maybe leave some suggestions of what kind of vehicle ideas would be cool. Because I was trying to think up more ideas, but this is pretty much the main thing that I came up with. And then I had that leftover idea from last time. So if you liked the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed and hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can get notified of when my videos come out. This has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time.